Hello students, welcome back. So now we'll be talking about window functions. Another name for window function is analytical functions, and what they are, they perform a calculations across a set of rows that are related to the current rows in your database. And what it does, it does not collapse your rows like your group by. So that's the difference between your window function and your group by. And your group by is basically collapsing your rows. In window function, it's not doing that. It's basically performing a certain type of computation of a certain row of your current row, and it's comparing it. It's doing it across your set of rows. So that's the set of rows that is going over. That is called a window. So the key idea is this: in your group by, you are reducing rows. On the other hand, in window function, you're not reducing rows, you're keeping all your rows and you add a calculated values. So why do we use window function? Well, they're useful when you want to compute running total. This is a very common use case. Ranking, you want to find out the first, second, or third, maybe in your from a column. Maybe you want to compare the current row with the previous or the next row. This is a very useful, interesting application of that. Also, when you want to perform some type of aggregate without using a row level detail. So these are some of the reasons why you want to use window functions. So this is the basic syntax of your window function. You define your function name right here, and then you use this word over right here. And what over does, it defines your window. That's what this thing does. Then you partition by, this is a keyword you use. Partition by, what it does, it splits your data into groups. And then you have order by, and then you specify your column name right here. So order by, what it does, it defines the order within each group right here. Now, in order to understand all this mumbo jumbo, let's create a table. Okay, let's create some table and add some records into that. So this will help us understand what's happening. So in this case, I'm creating a small table called employees, and I'm putting some columns over here: employee ID, name, department, salary, joining date, and I'm inserting some records into that. So I'm inserting these records like Judy, Khan, Samir, and all these records in there, and it creates this table for me right here. So let's understand running totals first. So suppose you wanna get a running total. Let's say this is your table right here, okay? And you wanna get some type of running total. You wanna print like Judy, Khan, each one of them, and you wanna know the up to Judy, how much people they make up to Judy, how many people made up to Khan, like Judy and Khan, combine them together. For Samir, you wanna add Judy, Khan, Samir, their salary together. Okay, so you want to get something like that. That's running total. Well, you cannot do this thing using group by clause. So here I try to do this thing. I said select employee ID, name, and then I say some salary as total salary from employees, and I'm grouping by employee ID and name. When I run this query, it gives me this output right here. So for Judy, it tells me the total salary is 6,000. For Khan, it is 75,000. For Samir, it's 72,000. But it's not giving me the running total. It's just giving me the total salary for each one of the person. So with window function, now I can do this thing. I can actually create a running total example. So in this case, I'm saying select employee ID, name, and salary. And I'm creating this right here. I'm saying some salary, and I'm using over here. Over here, I was using as like this, I was using this clause right here. But in this particular instance, I'm using over, and I'm saying order by employee ID as running total right here. And then I'm saying from my employee table. Okay, so when I run this particular query, this one right here, this actually is this syntax right here is responsible for creating this window function. It creates an employee ID, name, salary, and this is my running total. So Judy up to 6,000. You see that all the people up to Judy, they make 6,000 right here. And then Khan, he makes 75,000. So 6,000 plus 75,000 is 13,005. Uh, 135,000. So add these two numbers together, you get 135,000. Okay, then you have Samir 72,000. So you have 60,000 plus 70,000 plus 72,000, and the answer comes out to be 207,000. So this is your running total right here. So this number right here is basically addition of this number plus this number plus this number plus this number. So basically you're adding all the salary up to that point, that gives you this result. And same thing with this. So this is your running total. As you can see, you can obtain this running total a lot easier using your window function. Let's take a look at another example. So let's say you want to get the running total by this of the salary by the joining date across the company wide. So in this particular instance, what I'm doing, I'm selecting my employee ID, name, joining date, salary, and I'm calling my window function right here. I'm calling some salary, and I'm using over clause right here. Order by joining date. And then I'm specifying my rows between unbounded preceding and current rows. And then I'm calling this column as running total salary. And then I specify my column, specify my table. In this case is from employees table. And then I'm ordering by joining date. So when I run this, you can see that it gives me employee ID, name, joining date, salary, and then it gives me running total right here. So you can see that it's ordered by the joining date right here. So you have 2018 first, 2019, 2019, 2020 right there, then 2021, and then it's basically giving you the running total for each one of them. So for example, this one right here, this is the running total for just this salary right here. You take these two salary, okay, for Carlos and Happy, you combine these two salaries together, and the answer is 130,000. Then you take these three salaries together and you combine it together, and your answer comes out to be 205,000. So this is your running total right here. The only difference now between this and previous one is that in this one I'm actually ordered by joining date, and this running total is going to give you running total for each one of the employee and also the previous ones combined together. And now let's do the ranking. Suppose you want to rank your employees on first, second, third, maybe based on some criteria. So let's do the hard way first. So in this particular instance, I'm going to use a subquery to rank employees by the salary from the highest to lowest. So this is the query I'm using. I'm not using any window function over here. So I'm selecting my employee ID, employee name, salary, and I'm counting everything right here. This is my, I'm basically using this logic right here. And then when I run this, it actually prints out this result right here. So this is my employee ID, name, salary, and rank right here. So Grace, okay, its salary rank is number one. Khan, his salary rank is number two. For Alice, the salary rank is number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can tell over here that the person who makes the most money is Grace right here, 77,000. Salary rank is 1. The person who makes the least money, that is this guy right here, 10. That would be Judy right here. Okay, so this is done without using any window function. Now let's do the window function now. So this is the easy way. So in this instance, by the way, just go back to the look at this amount of syntax, that SQL statement that you had to write in order to execute this little logic right here. Now, let's do the same thing using window function. Select employee ID, name, salary, and in this case, all you have to do is just say rank over, and then you call order by salary, descending order, and as salary rank. That would be my column name right here. So you can see that employee name, salary, salary rank right here. And now you can see that your salary rank 1, that is your Grace. She's making 77,000. This is number 1. Number 2 would be your Khan. He's making 75,000. And then number 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 10, that would be Judy. She's making 60,000. You can see that this syntax, this SQL statement is a lot smaller and also a little bit easier to understand than this one right here. If you're trying to calculate the rank. Okay, now let's compare the current row with the previous or the next row. Let's perform these types of operation. Suppose you want to compare each employee's salary with the previous employee's salary, and it is, and you have ordered, you have ordered your records by joining date. So let's do this thing without window function. In this case, I will use correlated subquery. And look at this. I would not even try to explain you what's happening over here, but basically this query right here is responsible for publishing or for printing this output right here. And what this is telling me is giving me the employee ID, giving me the name, joining date, salary, and this is the previous salary, and this is the salary difference. So Carlos, his salary 68,000. There's no previous salary because Carlos is the first one, and this is ordered by the joining date. You can see that 2018, 19, 19, 20, 20. Okay. So Happy, let's look at Happy. His salary is 62,000, and the guy before Happy, he made 68,000, right? That was his previous salary, so that's where the 68,000 comes from. This comes over here. Now, what is the difference between Happy salary and 68,000? Well, the answer is minus 6,000. It actually went down. Okay. Let's look at the next one, Khan. In this case, Khan is making 75,000, and the guy before Khan was Happy. He was making 62,000. So this is my 62,000 right here. And what's the difference between 75,000 and 62,000? Is 13,000 plus 13,000. So this is my 13,000. Let's look at Judy right here. 60,000. This is her salary. The person before Judy, that would be Khan. He was making 65,000 right here. So this 65,000, sorry, this 75,000 comes over here. 75,000. So the difference between 60,000 and 75,000 is minus 15,000. And this is where you derive the rest of them. Okay, so all this thing is being done by this logic right here. And look at this. This can be a little bit hard to understand. This is very lengthy code. So what's happening over here is that for every row, basically this is the idea what's happening, is that for every row, I'm searching the table again and I'm finding the immediately previous joining employee and I'm fetching their salary and then I'm subtracting their salary. This is the logic I'm employing over here. Now let's do the same thing using window function. In this case, I use lag. And this is the same logic as the previous one, but it is clean and readable. So this is my syntax right here, SQL statement. That's it. So in this case, I'm selecting my employee ID, my name, my joining date. I'm selecting salary, and I'm creating this lag. I'm actually calling this lag function, and I'm saying lag on the salary over order by joining date as previous salary. This is what the column previous salary forms right here. And then I'm creating another column called salary minus lag salary, and then everything is same right here. And this is a column called salary difference. That would be this. So this output is exactly same as the previous output, but look at the amount of SQL statement that has been entered over here. Only like few, maybe one, two, three, four, five, only 5, 6 lines of code. That's it. Okay, so let's look at this guy, Carlos. Okay, his first of all, look at the joining date. Everything is ordered by the joining date. So 2018, 2019, 19, 20, 20, 20. All right. So let's look at Carlos. His salary is 68,000. Previous is going to be null because there's nobody before him. Okay, then Happy is the next one. His salary is 62,000, and the guy before Happy was 60 was Carlos. He was making 68,000. So this 68,000 comes over here. The difference between 62,000 and 68,000 is minus 6,000. Alrighty. The next person is Khan. He's making 75,000. What's the salary of the guy before Khan? That was Happy. He's making 62,000. So this 62,000 comes over here, right here. The difference between 75,000 and 62,000 is 13,000. Okay, likewise, you can calculate the rest of them. So you can see that I was able to do this thing using only a few lines of code over here. Let's do something else now. Let's compare both the previous and the next row using window function. Now, this is pretty much impossible or impractical if you are not using window function. You can only do this thing using window function. So you want to compare both the previous and next row using window function. So in this case, I'm selecting my employee ID, name, salary, and I'm calling this function called lag. I'm also calling this function lead. And I'm basically saying over order by joining date as previous salary. So I'm creating a column called previous salary. I'm also creating another column called next salary. That would be this and this. So let's look at Carlos right now. Previous salary for Carlos. There's nobody because Carlos was the first one right here. Okay, so 62,000. Next, the person after Carlos is Happy. He makes how much? 62,000. So the next salary is 62,000 right here. Okay, let's look at Happy. Happy. The guy before Happy is Carlos. He's making 68,000. So the previous salary for Happy, the guy before Happy, is making 68,000. So this previous is right here. Okay, the person after Happy, how much is he making? He's making 75,000. And you can see that this guy, Khan, is making 75,000. That's why it came over here. Let's look at Khan now. Khan, all right. What about what's the salary of the guy who's before Khan? Well, he's making 62,000. You can see that right there. Happy is making 62,000. All right. What about the person who's after Khan? How much he's making? He's making 60,000 right here. You can see that 60,000 right here. He's making 60,000. That's why it came. Okay. So I think you got an idea now. So you're able to see the previous salary and the next salary for each one of the corresponding rows over here. And now let's do the aggregation. Okay, in this case, I will try to show you how we can do aggregate without losing row level detail. Suppose the task given to you is this: that show me the department average salary alongside each employee. Also, show me the difference between the employee salary and the department average. So this is what my task is given to. In other words, I want to see an output like this. So it should show an employee ID, name, department, salary. It should show me the department average. So for example, Judy is in HR. So you want to know the HR average salary. So the HR average salary is 62,000. I want to see that. And I also want to know the difference between Judy's salary and the department average salary. So in this case, it's minus 2,000 right here. So I want to know all this thing. Well, in this case, if I'm doing the same task without using window function, I'll be using join and group by, and I'll be using this logic right here. And you can actually go over this thing and you can see a few things, a few issues with this. By the way, it works. There are a few problems. Number one, you're using two queries. First of all, you're using one query over here, right here, and then you're creating a join, and then you're using another query right here. So it can be hard to read. That's your first problem. Another issue is like you are using join. So anytime when you use join, it can be a little bit mental work. And I don't know if you have done join before, but if not, trust me, it is a little bit of there's a little bit of mental overhead involved over here. This can be easy to break. You make one little mistakes over here. Let's say you made a join somewhere wrong over here, or somebody comes and you're playing around and do something crazy. The wrong join will give you the wrong results. So that's a problem. Also, your scaling can be a little bit problem. It can become very hard to read when you want to scale this thing up. So this is the problem when you are doing something like this without window function. Now let's do the same task using window function. So this is my same output right here. Everything is same, and you can see that this is my window function right here. So select employee ID, name, department, salary, and call my window function average salary over partition by your department, and then create this column called department average salary. And then you subtracting, you're taking a salary minus the average salary, and then you creating another column called diff over diff from average, and then you is calling it from employees order by the employee ID. So this is essentially the same thing as the previous one. So let's understand this. So in this case, Judy, in HR department, her salary is 60,000, and the HR department, what is the average salary for HR department? 62,000. All right. And what is the difference between Judy's salary and the HR department salary? It's minus 2,000. Okay. Next person is Khan. Okay. IT. What is his salary? His salary is 75,000. What is the IT's average salary? It's 74,250. All right. What is the difference between the Khan salary and the department's average salary? Is 750. All right. Let's look at the third one. Samir, IT department. He's making 72,000. What is the department average salary? Same as the previous one, 74,250. What is the difference between this and this? Is minus 2,250. And likewise, you can derive the rest of them. So I hope this convinces you that window functions are pretty handy tool and they make your life a little bit easier.